Here's your wrestling news for May 25th, 2021. And your headlines for today include an interesting end to Raw's main event, reason why Alexa Bliss did not appear on WWE Monday Night Raw, WWE drastically changing Hell in a Cell card, Bobby Lashley's potential WWE title challenger at Hell in a Cell 2021 to be set on Raw next week, Velveteen Dream addresses accusations that derailed his WWE NXT career. More reasons for his release are out. WWE announces return of 2 former champions. An interesting character direction for Riddle on Raw. Reveals text he got from Randy Orton after hitting RKO. Former WWE star arrested on 11 charges, and more. We're starting this video with Raw, which was headlined by the women's tag team title match, pitting Natalya and Tamina against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Nia Jax was the weakest performer in the match, delivering barely any moments that could have turned the tide in her team's favor. Jax tried to take down both champions, who used their experiences to their advantage, and they quickly dominated her with swift maneuvers that didn't fit someone who'd been a dominant champion until recently, and Jax ended up taking herself out of the equation when she tried to throw Tamina over the barricade. Though the two teams haven't had a 5-star classic, this week's match was fun to watch, but we feel it only headlined Raw because of its twist ending. In the climax of the match, Reginald cost Baszler and Jax the win after accidentally distracting the ref from a pin, causing Baszler to force him to leave. As he was leaving, pyro shot from the stage, nearly injuring him badly, indicating that Alexa Bliss's presence was there in the Thunderdome. This allowed Natalya to get a quick pin, and Raw ended with Shayna Baszler berating Reginald, challenging him to a match next week. We'll have to see how Reginald fares against the Queen of Spades and what involvement Bliss will have on next week's Raw. Last night's women's tag title match saw Alexa Bliss once again take Reginald out with her magic, but Bliss herself wasn't on the show. We now know why she was missing, as she's currently dealing with an emergency with her pet pig. On Instagram, Bliss noted that her pig, Larry Steve, is very ill and in a lot of pain, and is asking anyone who can help her get in touch with a veterinarian. Bliss is incredibly close to Larry Steve and regularly updates fans about him, as does his Instagram account, which boasts almost 90,000 followers. The former women's champion has never been quiet about her love for her pig, which has an entire gallery dedicated to him on WWE.com. And Larry Steve even has a TV credit to his name, as fans of Total Divas got to meet the pig during a 2017 episode. Bliss noted that Larry Steve can't move or walk, and that his usual vet isn't comfortable treating him in his current condition, and we're sending out our best wishes to Bliss and her pet. Now next month, WWE will host Hell in a Cell, which may be the last ever pay-per-view inside the Thunderdome. On last night's Raw, a title match between Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair was announced for Hell in a Cell, but the rest of the card is yet to be confirmed, and for good reason. When Ringside News asked around about the pay-per-view match card, they were told that not only has the entire card not been booked, but what has already been booked is constantly changing. WWE has less than a month to get everything announced for Hell in a Cell before they hit the road on July 16th, and time will tell what else is announced for the June pay-per-view. We know that WWE Champion Bobby Lashley will defend his title at Hell in a Cell, but determining who his opponent will be got a lot harder on Raw. During last night's show, Kofi Kingston argued why he should be the next challenger, and rightfully called out Drew McIntyre, saying he was sick of the Scotsman getting free runs at the Gold. Ultimately, a match was booked between the two to decide Lashley's next opponent, and though we were hoping for a decisive finish, that didn't happen thanks to a double DQ when Lashley attacked both men. Backstage, Adam Pearce informed Lashley and MVP that he's booked a rematch for next week, and should either of them interfere, they'll face a 90-day suspension without pay. Whilst it sets up a good challenge next week, where hopefully we'll get a definitive answer as to who will be facing Lashley at the pay-per-view, we fully expect McIntyre to prevail and secure another championship opportunity in hopefully the main event of next week's Raw. And what do you think of another title match between McIntyre and Lashley? Now last week, WWE released Velveteen Dream from NXT after a series of allegations, and the hashtag #FireVelveteenDream followed the former North American champion. Last year, Dream faced claims of sending explicit photos and messages to minors, and though WWE cleared him in their own investigation, that investigation reportedly never contacted those who made the claims. One claim against Dream was that he once messaged a minor about their body and where they went to school, and in a lengthy Instagram story, the former superstar explained the content behind this claim. Dream, now going as Patrick Clark, explained that this message happened between him and a fan called Jacob, who was an aspiring wrestler and wanted some advice. That was why Dream was heard asking about his height and weight, and when he asked about what school he went to, he was referring to wrestling training. Clark also discussed Joshua Fuller, who also made claims against him, who according to the former WWE superstar has a wildly contradictory story. Clark claims that Fuller was also looking to become a wrestler, but didn't take his advice after the wannabe wrestler suffered a concussion. I suggested he take time off from training to see a doctor. He declined because he believed he could work through the concussion, and I cut all communication with him in 2018 because I didn't want to be partially responsible had he worsened his injury. So to have him accuse me of predatory behavior because I chose not to help was spiteful. Clark argues that Fuller contacted Jacob, and the pair succeeded in defaming his character and ultimately forcing him out of WWE. As of now, Clark is under a 30-day non-compete clause with WWE, which will expire next month, but the controversy that surrounded his departure may make promotions hesitant to book him. At least now, both sides have shared their stories, and Clark has promised to fight another day, but whenever that is remains to be seen. The accusations that have followed Dream for the past year definitely didn't help the former WWE superstar, but they apparently weren't the reason he was let go from the company. That's according to Brian Alvarez, who spoke on Wrestling Observer Live this week and said that it was Dream's attitude backstage that ultimately led to his downfall. He explained, "The thing that I heard about Velveteen was that he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and it had nothing to do with accusations." Alvarez compared Dream's behavior backstage to Shawn Michaels back in the mid to late 90s, blending the real-life person and the character together. Alvarez gave examples of Dream's backstage behavior, including going to shows and not talking to anybody, being aloof and difficult to work with the impression from those in the company being that he was going to lose his job soon, regardless of the accusations. WWE have always stated that their investigation into Dream came back empty as he was seemingly released for a much different reason. In July, after over a year away, the WWE will be heading on the road for a 25-city tour as part of the company's ongoing plans to leave the Thunderdome behind. With this being WWE's biggest move to date to going back to how things were, the company isn't taking any chances with fans, as those who are attending the tour will have to agree to a liability waiver. The waiver says that fans in attendance realize the risk of going to a WWE event and possibly testing positive, and fans take all responsibility for their own health at the show. It also says the fans assume all risks, even death whilst at the event, even if the event that puts them at risk comes from a negligent venue or WWE themselves. The document also notes that fans must agree to waive any rights to sue WWE or the venue if they get injured or sick, as the company is covering all their legal bases before going back out on the road. Now, earlier this week, we reported that Edge's absence since WrestleMania had been because he booked some time off, but that vacation will soon be coming to an end. Fans will get to see the Rated R superstar in person, no less, on the July 16th SmackDown, which will be the first show with live fans at full capacity and take place in Houston, Texas. Sasha Banks is also promoted for the show in local advertisements, and it wasn't noted if they'll be returning during that episode, meaning they could be back prior to that episode. Edge and Banks may not be the only big name back, as with John Cena's HBO Max series Peacemaker set to wrap up shooting on July 7th, it's entirely possible he could be there too. Edge is contracted to wrestle 5 matches a year and has already had 4 in 2021, and with it expected that he'll compete at SummerSlam, we'll have to see what he does on the first SmackDown back with live fans. More from Raw, as this week's show saw Riddle face Xavier Woods in a match that more than delivered. We are surprised the match got as much time as it did, but it would have stolen the show had a live crowd been present. It'll be good to see how Riddle fares with a live crowd on the main roster, as, bar WrestleMania, the original Bro hasn't had a live audience since coming to Raw. This week's match was a continuation from last week, where Riddle shoved Woods down following Kofi Kingston's controversial victory over Randy Orton, and the finish saw Riddle pay homage to his partner, hitting the RKO out of nowhere and doing Orton's signature pose post-match. Appearing on Raw Talk, Riddle said he received a text from the Legend Killer post-match with a simple message, "I saw that, bro." Neither Kofi nor Orton were at ringside, which helped boost the match quality as all the attention was on Riddle and Woods, and it appears WWE are forging the Viper and the original Bro into a cohesive unit with a potential heel turn for Riddle and long-term storyline in the works. Next week, Kofi Kingston will get a chance to become #1 contender for the WWE title, but the New Day star had some bigger personal news this week. On Instagram, Kofi and his wife Corey broke the happy news that they're having a third child and are expecting the latest addition of their family this November. The couple were married in 2010, with their children Kai and Orion born in 2013 and 2016 respectively, and we're sending our congratulations to the entire family on this happy occasion. And we're ending today with concerning news regarding Buff Bagwell, as the WCW star has been arrested on a number of offenses. Arrested in Cobb County, the Georgia Gazette reports that Bagwell was arrested on 11 misdemeanor charges, including speeding, failure to yield when entering an intersection, giving false data to a law enforcement officer, hit and run, following too closely, reckless driving, driving within a median, driving under the influence of drugs, duty upon striking a fixed object, driving on the wrong side of the roadway, and having an open container. At 51 years old, Bagwell is still living life on the edge, and he was released from jail on May 24th after his bond was paid. Hopefully he can clean up his act as he's making some dangerous choices on the road, and we'll continue monitoring this story for updates.